Good morning, everyone. How's everybody? Happy Friday. Happy Friday. Happy end of the month. Hey, hello, Dano, Ian, Badir, Shanghai. Welcome, welcome. Hey, Marcus. Well, so last trading day of the month. We had a liquidation yesterday, and we are back. Whoops. We're back in this cost basis, and 68.44. I don't know if you guys remember last we were talking about 68.44 and how every time we dipped underneath it, we came back up over it. On the downside, we failed to take out 68.64 yesterday. We put in sort of an elongated B profile. Tonight, overnight inventory is short, but you can see that we're taking the cheap stuff from yesterday here and selling it up here. A little bit of distribution. Hey, Ao, how you doing? So, all things considered, not bad. Hey, Doc, how are you? Good morning. Let's see. Hey, Blues Queen. How are you? Ah, thank you. I'm so glad you're doing well. Ah, you know what they say? Every time a retail trader makes money, a market maker gets his wings. Thank you so much. I'm building my karma credit points, one retail trader at a time. Making up for all my bad deeds. Oh, can't believe we're already through January and February. It's like you blink and time just phew, goes right by us. So longer term, let's talk longer term. Longer term is a bit of a gray area until next week, right? So for traders who are looking for a longer term trade, I would, if you can hold off a little bit, I'd hold off because we're still in this big rotation, between 67.88 and 70.30, but we can't seem to take out the top and we can't seem to take out the bottom. So, and the ranges are big, right? So you don't want to overcommit. I'd wait till the new month starts and see what happens next week. Um, that'll give us some clues. Today, today is the last trading day of the month, so yesterday and today, these sort of kind of ranges are a little, well, not ranges, I should say, sorry. The order flow is unpredictable, right? The last couple of days of the month, so it's hard to predict exactly what's going to happen. The good thing is we can day trade this stuff without overcommitting capital. Now, tonight, margins are higher, right? So I posted in the room, It's going to cost you if you're trading at one of the wirehouses or sorry, one of the discounters. It's going to cost you $600 to trade a micro and 6 grand to trade a mini. So you really, really want to be sure about your trades, right? Because they're charging you more to play today, right? They're protecting capital. Because what do we have? Do we have? Is it NFP? What do we have today for news? Oh, PPI, core PPI, right? Construction spending at 10. Hmm. Okay. A Fed speaker. Does anybody actually listen to those Fed speakers? I'm just curious. I don't mean to be disrespectful, but does actually anybody ever listen to those guys? Who was the one who used to always put me to sleep? Well, this one kind of does. He could do like audiobooks after he retires. They do. They remind me of the teacher in Ferris Bueller. They totally do. Right? The Smoot Hawley Reform Act. Anyone? Anyone? Oh, okay. Enough joking around. I suppose we should get back. We should get to work, right? I tend to act the fool on Fridays. Slow Friday mornings are, you know, one thing I miss about being on the trade desk is playing practical jokes on the other traders. That was always fun. Oh, but you can't do that kind of stuff in an office anymore. One of these days, I'll do like a a podcast and tell stories that are a little off color if I'm allowed to. Oh, all right. So what are we gonna do? We're gonna trade back and forth. We are inside yesterday's range, and we're inside yesterday's cost basis, firmly inside yesterday's cost basis. Cost basis is my street word for value area, right? So for traders who are classical market profile traders, I call the value area cost basis. Now I do that so people get an understanding of the business. So what does that mean when we're inside yesterday's value area or cost basis? It means business as usual. So if you were paying 69.03 yesterday for contracts, you probably get them at the same price today. If we're outside of yesterday's value area cost basis, then there's change, right? Hey, Redcom. So let's see. I don't talk about dealer inventory really, Redcom, because it's really not going to help you make any money unless, like, I know guys who look at, the commitment of traders and all that stuff, but there are people who trade like 5,000, 10,000 contracts, right? So for us, I really try and keep it simple. Um, you know, like if you're one of those traders, if you're trading size, then definitely reach out to me and we can have conversations about that. But on these YouTubes and in our room and stuff like today, I'm doing like a 101 at 11 o'clock in our trading room, right? To teach people how markets work, because most people don't even know what markets work, how market really works. So when you go and you start talking about um, dealer inventory, it just confuses the hell out of everybody. You know what I mean? Like I don't mean to be rude, but if you're not making consistent money trading, you should really lower the amount of stuff that you're looking at and focus, right? There is, There's something I sent my traders yesterday, and it was about attention and focus. And it really, it really hit home with me um, because a lot of people have trouble focusing. They have so much trouble focusing, um, and their attention gets split among so many different things that they can't focus on what's important. And it's really, really hard for them. So I don't know. Does that make any sense to you, Redcom? Yeah, we need to keep it simple, but do dealers need to prepare for a new month? Yeah, they do. But that's none of your business. Right? It's none of my business. You know what I mean? Right? Right? Your business is where do I take the trade and what is the business reason for me taking the trade? The thing with focus is attention is the most valuable human power. The more significant, it's more significant than strength or knowledge, right? Whatever controls your attention controls your business and your destiny in that business, right? Scattering attention weakens your brain. So if you're looking at dealer inventory, if you're looking at gamma levels, if you're looking at, you're looking at hedging, if you're looking at options, order flow, but how are you taking that and making money off of it? Do you know what I mean? And this is why retail traders get into so much trouble, right? I'll talk a little bit about this because it's slow right now, right? Attention and focus. Everything is about attention and focus. Let me tell you a little story, okay? I used to write down every single trade in every single stock that I used to make a market in, right? Now, this is in the days before we had millions of trades in certain stocks, and these were smaller stocks. So I would look at every trade, every block, every market maker move, and I would write stuff down. Now, one day, we were doing a short squeeze on a stock, and there was an insane amount of selling, okay? The stock was around $5 a share, right? And the guys who were running the deal, they they asked me to help them. They're like, JJ, there's somebody shorting our stock. Can you find out who it is and get them to stop? I'm like, okay. So I sat and I watched the stock for a couple of weeks. One day, now the market would close at 1 o'clock in Vancouver, which is 4 o'clock in New York. One day, everybody left. I don't know why. I was sitting there. There's something told me to sit and watch. And I sat and watched that stock trade in the after hours. At about 45 minutes in, I saw a block of 200,000 shares print at like $4.75. Okay? That was a backfill, which means I found the seller, right? So they did it 45 minutes after the close, right? So 475, multiply that by 200,000 shares, that's a $950,000 order, which means somebody had sold almost $1 million worth of stock, and it wasn't a short seller because the market maker who printed the trade adjusted his market after he printed the trade. So I had him. So I did a printout of the trade, and I walked over, and I remember it like it was yesterday. I walked over to the bar where all the deal guys were drinking. It was called the Bombay Bicycle Club in Vancouver. And I walked in there and I go, I found your back door. They're like, what do you mean? I go, one of you guys is selling stock behind everybody's back, right? Because what happens when you do a deal is you don't pool all your stock together. All the investors who invested in that deal and the people who work on it have stock in different accounts with different brokers who use different traders who use different market makers. So when that market maker moved, I'm like, gotcha. Now that is a detail that nobody else saw. And I knew that market maker represented a brokerage firm in Canada where this one guy had his stock. So I had the guy dead to rights, right? The only reason I figured that out, and you know how much money that other people, they started going, Jesus, JJ's a forensic trader. Have you guys ever heard of a forensic trader? It's somebody who understands the market so well and knows where every trade is coming from. You give me a stock, and within 3 to 5 minutes, I'll find out who the seller is, where they're selling out of, what market maker they're using, where their offshore accounts are located, and what they ate for breakfast. Right? That is focus. Right? You guys need to focus on the important things of your business. Because if you don't focus on the important part of your business, you're going to scatter your attention. And in this business, if you lose attention for 10 seconds, 5 seconds, your goose is cooked. Does everybody understand what I'm trying to say? So I caught that trade and I got millions of dollars worth of business because people knew that I had a reputation. If there's a problem in a stock, you call JJ because he will ferret it out. Right? Focus. Right? And sorry, I'm making an example out of you, Redcom. But this is easy for us retail traders because they pump us with so much information. They're like, look at this, dealer inventory, gamma levels, option levels, the Velcro option wall, all of this stuff, right? They just throw all this information at you, and you don't know what to look at. So that's why I'm here to help you cut through all the BS and tell you where's the trade, right? So where is the trade, right? You train yourself to do business only when it makes sense, right? Where is the trade? The trade is here, right? When the market looks below and fails, you go long at 68, 96, 97. You put your stop under 95. You sell a little bit here at 98, 99. You sell the rest here. If you're a larger trader, you just sell out at my levels, right? That is an A plus setup. An A plus setup is one that you've tested 500 to 1,000 times. An A plus setup is a setup that you could talk about for 6 hours because you know the difference between that one, right? And this one. And you could tell the difference between all three of these setups. And you know how to adjust them depending on the order flow that comes into the market. And the funniest part of that story is we had one of the guys on the deal team on that deal who was a bit of a joker. And when we found out who the guy was, he was backdooring the whole, like he was backdooring everybody, right? And he was just a weasel. He was an absolute weasel. I still remember him to this day. So one of the guys from the deal team, right? He was a bit of a joker. He calls this guy up and he goes, "We know you're selling." And the guys in the office, we could see him because all the office buildings, right? You could see people's office. And he goes, "I'm not selling. I'm not selling." He goes, there's a gun pointed at your window right now, and the guy just dropped down under the desk. Oh my god. He literally pooped his pants. Oh, it was so funny. Ah, the good old days. But yeah, we got a seller at 6908. We got a sniper and he's trained. This guy dropped to the knees. He was wearing a suit too. It was so funny. Let's see if we take out this poor high. Oh, focus, folks. Focus, people. You gotta focus. When you split your attention and you start looking at 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 things, and you're trying to trade, that's why you're not making any money because you're not focused, right? John Madden went to a coaching seminar put on by Vince Lombardi. Lombardi talked about one play for 6 hours, right? Good stuff, Blue Screen. Focus on one market, learn it inside and out. Now, I know ES. ES is like my girlfriend, right? I know when she's in a bad mood. I know when to stay the hell away from her, right? I know when to go hide in the garage. I know when to trade and I know when not to trade, right? Because you understand one market and you trade it very well. Otherwise, what happens is, and I'm not saying don't trade multiple markets, but learn one like the back of your hand that you know that ES, you know how it's trading, you know when to mess with it, you know when not to mess with it, right? And then expand. But what traders do is they go, okay, well, ES is slow, I'm going to go trade NASDAQ. And they go do that and they just get crushed, right? Don't do that. Exactly, Dano. Right? Like right here, right? We're in a little distribution. The overnight point of control, the cost basis of the overnight is here at 68.96. We're selling those contracts up here over 69.05. This is a little distribution. These little distributions are horrible to trade, especially at 3 o'clock in the morning in New York, right? So it's 3 a.m., right, in the Big Apple. Look how slow the order flow is. You've taken out probably 80%, right, of all the retail traders because of higher margins, right? So you know that there are less customers in the store, so you're not going to get these bigger moves unless a large trader comes in and starts transacting. So what do? Have a coffee, just relax, right? Hey, Dave, don't worry about being late. Not much is going on, right? I was just telling a story so you guys could understand the value of focusing. This is the best kind of month end, Rocky. It's nice and slow. Hey, Mia, yeah. When speculators run the market, you get huge ranges, right? So when you have more investment money coming in, it's like you have shorter ranges, right? We used to call it greedy bastard day. You'd get, instead of ranges like this, right, you get tighter ranges, and then a move up, and then a tighter range, and then a move up. These tighter ranges is where you can buy a position and sell into strength, right? The reason that speculators are running the market now is because it's a new year and all the bonuses got paid out last month, right? Everybody on Wall Street got their bonus last month. Did you see they published numbers and stuff like that? So now we have to reset the cost basis, right? We have to reset the cost basis and start again. That's why the market keeps shaking out. And that's why you see kind of there's a wall around 6,900, right? Yeah, well, speculator markets, they move, right? Right? They move. There's big movement, which is great if you know what you're doing, right? So there's a wall of selling up here in the 6,900, right? Every time we get up there now, it comes back down. There's a little cost basis here in the 68.90s, right? I'm looking to see if we can take out 67.49 next week, right? If we can't, we're just going to keep going sideways in this range, which is okay for us, right? Because you just trade the edges, right? So if you're a larger trader, you can do the look above and fails of 69, let's say 7,000, right? Right? Or 69.90, right? You take the look above and fails, which means you short here, you put your stop here, and you cover some at, 68.90, right? And then if you're a really big trader, you can look to do covers at 68.07. And conversely, you do the look below and fails here of 68.07. So every time the market looks under 68.07 and comes back up, you go long, put your stop underneath, and ride it up that way. Beautiful trading, right? You know? SNDK. Thanks, Rocky. I was supposed to do a chart on that. Let me go look. SanDisk. I remember this stock. Holy leaping lizards, look at this thing. Wow. Oof. It was 48 bucks last year. $650. I'll do a chart on it. Looks like fun. How's the coin of bitterness this morning? See, Bitcoin's putting in a cost basis. It's trying to clean itself up. It's going to take time. Is it a good idea to draw a cost basis as 34% area of volume profile? You know what, David, if you come into our trading room, right, we'll teach you. I did it a couple of days ago. If you look back on the videos, I think it was not yesterday, the day before, where I redid the cost basis. Here's a really nice way to do cost basis, David, right? You just look for a high and a low, right? And when we look above that high, we go back to that low. We look below that low, we go right back to that high. You'll see two-sided trade. You don't have to worry about 34% or it's really simple, right? And if you draw a volume profile, you'll see that the cost basis is generally, see how all the volume is here? Very simple, right? Was it a gap up day? Okay, a couple of days ago. Real simple. I've got videos how to do it. I'm going to be doing it today at 11 o'clock. So at 11 a.m. Eastern Time, we are doing a Markets 101 in our trading room. Come check it out. Right? Steve's running another special. He's actually doing a free trial. You got nothing to lose. Give it a shot, folks. I promise you you'll learn more in an hour with me than you will anywhere else. Okay. We fixed the poor high. That's the biggest news here. London's opening. Now, London usually opens and tries to get cheap inventory, okay? But it's not doing that here, right? So what does that tell you, right? When you have a time frame that opens, right? See how it's trying to get lower? So we're looking for 69.05. Can it break 69.05? If it can't, it will turn and do this. That is the concept of rotation, right? I still don't see a trade. Do you see? And then we'll teach you things like market awareness, where you don't learn that in any other trading room. Look how small these candles are. That is no retail trader, right? That's a no for retail trading. When the candles are small and choppy like that, that means business is slow, which means it's not for you to go jumping in, because all it is, it's what we call a pickpocket market. You go long, you get stopped out. You go short, you get stopped out. Sound familiar? Right? We'll stop you from doing that. So by the time that you actually take the trade, you will be refreshed and you'll be aware of what's going on. Now let's see if this. See, London tried to get some cheap product. The market said no way. Maybe we get a look above and fail of 69.05. Let's see. Right? The only math you need to know to trade like me and like our friends in the room is just to be able to go 2, 4, 8, 16. Simple. Everything we do is simple. Everything we do is based on common sense and sound business practices. Hey, Moran, how are you? This is coast into month end now. See how hard this is to trade? There's really nothing to do here. Right? The seller has now moved up to 69.05 from 69.08. See how there's a little position here? And the market just goes up and then it comes back into this position and then lifts again. Right? If we get any heavy selling, we'll take out 69.06, which is right here. Yeah. Hey, what's up, VS Squad? Iron Beam. Well, they're a smaller broker. Well, they might have different rules. I don't get emails from them either on margin increases. Um, I would ask customer service. Now, the client I have that trades out of Iron Beam, I have a couple of them. They have fairly substantial accounts. So, but I never get those increases either. Oh, okay, Harris. Different risk management, I guess. I have an account I have two accounts at AMP as well, and that's the ones that give me those margin increases. I don't talk about the money that my clients have. Some of them are worth 100 million. I don't trade with 100 million though. That's for goddamn sure. I'm a piker, Mihai. I'm a piker. I'm not $100 million trader. I have friends who trade that stuff, but at this stage in my life, I like to make my daily bread, and if I really want to make big money, I'll do a deal. It's a lot easier selling $100 million worth of stock in a day than it is trying to make $100 million trading. Let's see if we can break 6906. If we take out 6906, there'll be some bids at 4.375, where yesterday's close is. And if that breaks, you'll look for 6,900 and a half, which is the low here. So if you are short and it breaks this level, like if you did a look above and fail of 9 and you shorted 8 or 7, right? Go put some bids here at 5. Like say you're short 5 here. Go buy 2 in this area. If those bids don't get filled, then we'll rotate back up. If those bids get filled, we'll come back down to that 6904 level, which is the close. Yeah, my clients put in enough money that I could trade without problems, but they don't have all their net worth at a broker. That's I have no idea, Moran. You know how these trading rooms are. People come and go, right? You know, sometimes life gets in the way and they don't trade for a little while. You know, it's been a tough month for a lot of traders. A lot. I mean, 2 days ago, I got like at least 10 messages from people who were blowing up accounts. Um, Yesterday, a lot of people probably blew up accounts because they were trying to buy that dip. You know, month end is a very difficult time to trade, and a lot of people scrub out at month end. It's not easy, right? It's not at all easy. So if you had a 6905 bid in here and you were short 7.6, right? 8.76. If you were short and you had a 6905 bid and you're not getting filled, right? What are you going to do, right? See the offers lifting, right? Remember what I said? This is the bottom of this little cost basis. So had you been short, say 69.08, and your stop at 9.5, and you had a bid at 69.05 to cover, and you didn't get filled, go take the offer. Now that's practical information that you can use, right? So instead of having it go and take out your break-even stop or whatever your stop, go and cover, right? For larger traders, use this level here, and you can stay short as long as the market doesn't offer back up over 69.08, right? But if I was short 5 contracts at, say, 8.5, 8, right, and I had a bid at 5, I would at least cover a couple of contracts down here because I see that bids are coming in. How do I see that bids are coming in without looking at a DOM? I watch the offer. Because when bids are coming in, the offer will move higher, right? If bids are pulling, the offer will move lower. Do you guys understand that concept? Right? If buyers are coming in, this red line will move up. If buyers are leaving the store, the red line will move down like it is right now. See, there you go. Right? So now you got a 5.25 print. There's a 5 print. And then now we're going to be looking right here at 4. Everybody understand what I'm talking about? So you don't need market profile to see cost basis. Time and volume traded is cost basis, right? So if we take out the 6s, everyone who's long here, now they're starting to puke it out, right? And the wholesalers are long underneath 6,900. So they'll just sell it lower until they find a size buyer, and then they'll lift the offer back up. And this is tactical information you can use when you're trading, so you can actually manage your expectations. So the larger traders, if I was scalping on a couple of contracts, I would have covered them here. If I was like selling, if I was short, say 10 at 8, right, I would have covered a couple here, right? And then when I saw that the sellers moved down from there to there, right, I could have stayed short, right? And then you break this little cost basis. Now we're going to come down to this little cost basis. See, it's really simple, but you guys have to focus. So how do I know that this was going to happen? Because I've focused on this type of pattern or business transaction which repeats itself over and over and over again on every single time frame, right? These are not random patterns. These are business transaction patterns, right? So if you have like a chart pattern that you like to trade, right? What I'm going to do is, well, maybe Monday I'll do this because I'm gone Thursday, Wednesday, and Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. But next week what I'll do is maybe Monday, if you guys want, and I've offered this many times, but nobody ever takes me up on it. If you have a chart pattern that you want to go and figure out why that pattern occurs, we can do a session on Monday if you guys are interested. What's going on in the room, guys? Does that interest you? Do you have a pattern that you like and you would like to understand it better and understand the business reasons and how to execute it better? Is that something that interests you? No. Thank you, Murad. At least she answered. Okay. All right. Ah, all right. Right. If you have your like teacup and saucer or frying pan pattern or whatever you guys use, right? I'll explain the business reason behind it. We'll do that on Monday. Because if you actually understand the pattern, right, then you will understand the business reason behind the pattern, right? Okay, good. Oh, Moran, that's hilarious. All right, now we're coming right back into the cost basis where we started. Overnight point of control is at 96, so that's where everything is priced. It's okay. It is gold. Ah, ah, gotta love Fridays. Yeah, we found the bid, eh? We found the bid. Sorry, this is in the wrong place. Okay. So we came down, the overnight point of control, or where the cost basis of the overnight is here, right? And it's strangely close to VWAP, right? So people who are shorting this area, they'll go and they'll put their buy orders here because they know that there's going to be buyers at VWAP. So they front run VWAP, and that's why we found the bid at 6,900, right? So everything we do in our trading room, folks, is simple. It's not easy, but it's simple, and it's based on common sense. Yeah, Dano, I'd put a sell order in now at 5.5, 5.25. There's going to be sellers at 6. So you want to sell at least 2 or 3 ticks before your target, just to make sure you get paid. You can keep a runner for your target, right? See how they're selling at 6? You might get a 6.25 print, right? There's 6. Can we get a quarter print? There you go. You were right. You were right. I'm just cheap, right? I just like to get out before everybody else jumps on the offer. See, my whole life was selling before everybody else, right? Hey, Al. Especially at this time of the morning, right? I mean, just like the song says, right? Take the money and run. Ah, good stuff, Dave. There was a stronger bid at 6 than I thought, but that's okay. That's still a good trade. Couple of ticks, and it comes right back down. Well, there's a bid at 6. Nice work, Rocky. 2 to 5.75. I'll take that trade every day. Beautifully done. Beautiful. That's what I want. I want you guys to make money. It's got to be worth it, right? All this time. You went to wash the dishes. That's okay, Blues Queen. Time to get some sleep. You're on the West Coast, right? Well done, folks. Well done. Oh, Nashville. Cool. Lots of good music. Oh. Thanks, Rocky. I'm glad you made money. Well, now we're back to distribution, right? So if you want to think of it like a business, which it is, right? We were selling people up here. We had a few people come in when London opened, right? And then we ran out of buyers under six. So the market went down and found larger buyers here. And as soon as they found those larger buyers, they tried to entice them to pay more, right? And that's what that trade is based on. Oh, you were an agent for musicians? Cool. We'll have to talk someday. I'm a big music guy. If I had any talent, I would have probably been a musician. But hey, I couldn't play tenor sax worth of crap. So off to trading. That's cool. A trade maker, all sorts of people. We have pilots and doctors and musicians and very cool. Well, folks, little distribution here, back and forth. We have sellers at 7.5. It must be a tough business. You traded off the iPad. Well done. Man, I'm too scared to trade off cell phones. I need to be wired in. But you got to remember, I'm from the era of dial-up internet. uh, old man paranoia. Yeah, it's slow. You can probably get away with it. All right, folks. Coming right back down. I remember those days, Badir. All right, my friends. Yeah, Globex is great for learning. Yeah, I love Globex because you can make a little bit of money you know, before the market opens and it takes the pressure off. A lot of people, including myself, when I first started, I found that the open was a lot of pressure to trade that 9:30 open and make money. And I found it, and then I started trading Globex when I met my girlfriend and she was in the UK and I was in Canada. And I was like, "Oh, this is so much more relaxing, you know? It's a nice way to start the day." Takes a lot of the pressure off. Thank you, folks. Appreciate you guys. Have a wonderful weekend. If I don't see you at 9 o'clock, we'll see the rest of you at 9 for our next session. Thank you very much. Appreciate you guys being with us, especially the folks stateside at this crazy hour. Thanks for staying up. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend if I don't see you. And the rest of you I'll see at 9 a.m. Come into our trading room. You can get in for free to see, it's like a free trial thing. Click on the link. We're doing a class at 11 a.m. Eastern Time, Markets 101. And I thank you all for being with me this week. Appreciate you guys. And we'll see you at 9 a.m. Until then, be safe out there. Thanks, Shanghai. Don't take candy from strange market makers, okay? Lots of love. Bye for now.